Damian, thank you very much for doing this.
No problem, thanks for having me.
I need your help on something, and that is, how do I explain to people just how amazing an athlete you are? How should I do that?
That's a really tough question for me to ask.
Because you're a humble guy, I get it. So how about stuff like this, that at Tokyo, your distance in the long jump was longer than the person who won the bronze medal in that event. Your 100-meter time is world class, even if you were just a sprinter, didn't do the other 9 things. And of course, you set the Olympic record. You broke the 9,000 point barrier in Tokyo. That's pretty impressive.
It was a special year for me last year.
From London, Ontario, Canada's Damian Warner. Warner coming to the finish line. Warner lining up with a chance for something big. Warner gritting his teeth, needs 4:33 to get 9,000. And the celebration is on in London. Damian Warner has won the Olympic gold medal in the decathlon with a score of over 9,000 points and the Olympic record. This is a performance for the history books.
I'm curious, talking to you now a year after that, has the gold medal changed your life?
I would be lying if I said it didn't. It certainly gave me a lot more recognition, a lot more opportunities. But when it's all said and done, I think it hasn't really changed too much. You know, I still changing diapers, still taking out the garbage. The one thing for me going into the Olympics is that I was hoping that it didn't change my life that much, you know, because I like my life. I enjoy the people that I have in my life. I enjoy my everyday process. And for me, it's kind of just staying true to myself, staying true to who I've been all through this career, and I wouldn't want to throw that all away just for winning a competition. My mom told me that when I was younger that to never get too high on yourself, that there's always somebody out there better looking than you, smarter than you, faster than you, stronger than you, you know. Track and field's always something that I do, and I hope to do it pretty well, but it certainly doesn't make me a better person than anybody else.
But the decathlon is described by a lot of people, the champion, as being the greatest Olympic athlete at the Olympics. I'm old enough to remember a time when the person who won the gold medal in the decathlon would literally be on the cover of the Wheaties box. Have you had any of those kinds of experiences with sponsors or anything else?
Certainly not on any Wheatie boxes, but I've certainly had a lot more interest in some new sponsors that I haven't really kind of announced yet, but I'm really excited to in the upcoming months. So it's certainly opened a lot of doors for me and my family, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. This past 2 years with the Olympics and even everything that's happened so far this year has just kind of been a dream come true, and we have a little guy now, so I can't wait till when he's older I can share all these memories with him, and it's certainly been really special for myself and my family.
Now, one of the extraordinary things about you is your connection to London, Ontario, where you grew up, where you went to high school and college, and where you're still based. Again, I think some people might think that a world-class athlete would need to go somewhere else.
Yep.
and have, you know, new coaches. You're still with the coaches that basically learned about the decathlon to help you. Why stay in London?
Yeah, London's just a really special spot for me. I think it's one of those cities that's like quite big, but at the same time has a small town feel, and the people there and the connections that I built are just really special to me, and there's no better place on earth for me.
Could you be better though at some of these events if you went to specialized training centers and different coaches for each of the events?
Yeah, we certainly have some opportunities where we go down to warm weather because, let's face it, in Canada with the seasons, the winter makes it really hard to get outside and throw javelin or to do some things like that. So there's certainly some setbacks that might happen from training in a country in a place like Canada. But at the same time, I've learned throughout the pandemic, we had to train in a hockey rink back in London, Ontario, that it's not so much about the facilities or like the cards that you're dealt, but like so much more like the people and the relationships that you have built that can help you push through those moments. So I don't really stress too much about the things that I can't control anymore. I just try to work on the things that we have a grasp of.
What's left for you in terms of challenges? You've won the Olympic gold. What's the next challenge?
You know, when me, Gar, and Dennis, my coaches from high school, when we first started training for the decathlon, we sat down to just come up with some goals. And it's funny because this was before I even tried to do the decathlon, so we were kind of a little bit naive. but quite optimistic. And we said that we wanted to become an Olympic gold medalist and we wanted to break the world record in the decathlon. And I was able to achieve one of those last year, and there's still another one that's left standing. So our goal right now is to try to be the world record holder in the decathlon. I think that would be like the ultimate for us, and it's something that we're working at right now every day.
What athlete, or is there an athlete that you idolize?
So there's a ton of athletes that I've looked up to at various moments in my career. So when I was first getting started, it was Katrina LeMaidon and Donovan Bailey. Those were like my two inspirations from a young kid. Then it became Vince Carter, and I wanted to be an NBA player and ball up socks around my house and practice all the dunks and stuff like that. But then once I started to learn about the decathlon, I started to look at who was the top at the sport, and I tried to learn from them. And ultimately, there was an athlete named Ashton Eaton who was the former world record holder for the decathlon, and he inspired me because not only for what he was able to do on the track, but for the person that he was off the track. You know, he was very personable, and he seemed to have time for everybody else. So that's somebody that I kind of aspire to be, and I try to give my time where I can and try to be as vulnerable as I can and give people the thoughts that are in my head as unfiltered as possible. And he's someone that's certainly an inspiration to me, and I hope a lot of other people.
And the most inspirational person for you who's not an athlete?
My mom.
I thought you were going to say that.
I think that's without a doubt. Growing up, there was a lot of tough moments, a lot of challenging moments, and it's really tough to see your mom in some of her tough moments where she's kind of crying or she's unhappy. And for me, it took a lot of inspiration to see how hard she worked for me, my brother, and my sister to kind of live the lives that we do. And everything that I do now, I kind of look back and think like, would this make my mom happy? Would this make my mom proud? And every step that I do, every interaction that I have with people, I try to do it in a way that she could look back and say, you know, that's my son. I try every day to make her happy.
And that Instagram post in Tokyo after you won, and you basically pointed to your mom as being your inspiration.
She gave me the most important advice that I've ever received, and that's you can do anything you set your mind to. And she told me from a very young age that it won't be easy, there will be challenging moments, but if you want something and you work hard for it, then you can get there. And luckily for me, I set my sights on the decathlon, and I've learned that what she told me was true, but I also learned that you have to surround yourself by the right people. So Gar, Dennis, and Vicky and Dave, my other coaches at home, and physiotherapists and mental performance coaches, and the people that I have in my life, those are the ones that can help me make my dreams a possibility. And I'm certainly one of the luckier athletes in the world where so many people have given time and energy to make my dreams a possibility, and I certainly can't have that go to waste, and I have to try to lead by example and be the best role model I can be to show upcoming kids and kids that may be in this field that, you know, like, if you have dreams, make them happen.
Just to be an Olympic athlete is an extraordinary thing, and to hit a personal best at the Olympics is an extraordinary thing. But you're a gold medalist in the decathlon. What about for those of us who are not athletes? Lots of times people will go to gold medalists and, you know, bring them into a company event and say, tell us what we should be doing to try to achieve excellence. So Damian, what advice do you have for me?
You know, it's always a weird one, and I've been in that situation sometimes. And you know, you go into a business and you want to tell your story, but I can't teach them success because they know success. You know, we're just in different fields, and I just tell them the same thing that my mom told me, and the same thing that I'll tell a really old person to a really young person, that you can do anything you set your mind to. I don't think that there's an expiry date on that. I think that if there's something that you want to achieve, whether big or small, then there's a process to get there, and just find the right people that can help you do it. So that's what I try to tell everybody.
You're an impressive guy on the field and off. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.